The alien ship Eternal Dawn floated quietly in deep space. Its blue lights blinked softly as the crew worked inside. Dr. Hannah looked at her screen and smiled. After 3 months of searching, they had found something amazing. Captain Sora, come see this? Hannah called out. Her voice was excited but calm. The Valdari people never got too excited about anything. They were peaceful creatures who loved to study old things. Captain Sora walked over to Hannah's workstation. Her long blue fingers touched the control panel. What did you find, Doctor? Human ship, Hannah said. It's very old. It's maybe 300 years old. It's been floating out here all this time. Sora's eyes grew wide. The Valdari had heard stories about humans, but they rarely saw them. Humans lived far away and kept to themselves mostly. The few humans the Valdari knew were traders and diplomats. Nice, quiet people. Is anyone alive on the ship? Sora asked. Dr. Timon looked up from his computer. The ship looks dead, but I'm getting some weak signals. There might be cryopods still working. Sora nodded. Let's bring the ship into our cargo bay. We need to be careful. This could be an important discovery. The crew worked for hours to pull the human ship inside. It was much smaller than their research vessel, but it looked dangerous. Even powered down, the ship had big guns and thick armor. The humans had built it for war. Hannah and Tommen put on their protective suits and went inside the human ship. The air was cold and stale. Their lights showed empty hallways and broken equipment. Everything was covered in dust. This way, Taman said, following his scanner. I'm getting life signs from the lower deck. They found a room full of cryopods. Most were broken or empty. But one pod in the corner was still working. It's blue. Light pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Inside the pod was a human male. He was tall and muscular, wearing a military uniform. Even sleeping, he looked dangerous. His face was calm, but his hands were positioned like he was ready to grab a weapon. Look at these markings on his uniform, Hannah said. He's a soldier, a high-ranking one. Taman read his scanner. His body is in perfect condition. The cryosleep worked perfectly. We could wake him up right now. Hannah called Captain Sora on her radio. Captain, we found a living human, a soldier. What should we do? Sora thought for a moment. Bring him to our medical bay. We'll wake him up safely. This human could tell us amazing things about their history. It took 6 hours to move the cryopod and set up the revival process. The human's body temperature slowly returned to normal. His heart started beating faster. His brain showed more activity, Captain. Sora watched from the medical bay with her crew. Dr. Hannah and the medical officer Wu Jin prepared the awakening drugs. Everyone was excited but nervous. He's starting to wake up, Wu Jin said. Rate increasing, brain activity normal. The human's eyes opened suddenly. They were dark brown and very alert. He looked around the room quickly, taking in every detail. His eyes moved like a predator studying prey. Easy, Hannah said in basic human language. You are safe. We are friends. The human said nothing. He tried to sit up, but the medical restraints held him down. His eyes found the restraints immediately. His face showed no fear, only cold calculation. I am Dr. Hannah, she continued. This is Captain Sora. We found your ship. You were in cryosleep for a long time. The human spoke for the first time. His voice was rough from sleep, but strong. Name, rank. Serial number. We don't understand, Sora said gently. Can you tell us your name? The human stared at her for a long moment. Master Sergeant Kunho, Colonial Defense Force. Service number 77492. Taman typed quickly on his computer, translating the words. He's telling us who he is. Kyung-ho is his name. He was a sergeant in their military. Hello, Kyung-ho, Hannah said. Your war is over. Your people are safe now. You have been asleep for 300 years. Kyung-ho's eyes narrowed. He looked at each alien in the room, counting them, noting their positions. His military training was taking over. Where am I? He asked. You are on our research ship, Sora explained. We are Valdari. We study old civilizations. Your ship was lost in space. We rescued you. Kung-ho tested the restraints again. They were strong, but not made for someone with his training. Mission? Your mission is over, Hannah said softly. Your enemies are gone. Humans and aliens live in peace now. The human's face showed no emotion. Inside his head, alarms were going off. Unknown aliens. Restraints. No weapons. His ship captured. This was either rescue or capture, and he couldn't tell which. I need to see my commanding officer, Kung Ho said. Wu Jin stepped forward with a medical scanner. We need to check your health first. The cryo-sleep might have Kung Ho move faster than anyone expected. His hand shot out and grabbed Wu Zhen's wrist. Even with the restraints, he was incredibly fast. Wu Zhen cried out in surprise. Don't touch me, Kung Ho said quietly. His grip was like steel. Not until I understand what's happening here. Sora raised her hands peacefully. Please, let him go. We mean no harm. Kung Ho studied her face. The alien looked genuinely scared and confused. Not like an enemy interrogator. But his training said never trust anyone. He let go of Wu Jin's wrist. Remove the restraints. Cannot, Sora said. Not until we know you won't hurt anyone. Kung Ho smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. Lady, if I wanted to hurt someone, these restraints wouldn't stop me. The aliens looked at each other nervously. They had never dealt with anything like this. In their peaceful society, no one talked about violence. No one threatened anyone, Hannah. Try it again. Kung Ho, we want to help you. Your people live far from here now. We can contact them for you. People? Kung Ho repeated. Show me proof. Show me star charts.
Ami.
Show me what happened to Earth. Taemin brought up a holographic display showing their current location in space. Earth was marked as a distant blue dot. Human colonies were scattered across several systems. Kung Ho studied the display carefully. His tactical mind processed the information quickly. If this was real, he was very far from home. If it was fake, it was very well made. The machine war, he asked. Over, Hannah said. Won by humans and their allies. 300 years ago, Kung Ho closed his eyes for a moment. His last memory was volunteering for a dangerous mission behind enemy lines. A one-way trip to gather intelligence. He had known he might not come back. When he opened his eyes, they were harder than before. I need food, water, and clothes. I need to contact Earth Command. And I need these restraints off. Now. The way he said now made everyone in the room step back. There was something in his voice that triggered primitive fear responses. Even the peaceful Faldari recognized the sound of a predator, Captain Sora. Made a decision that would change everything. Remove the restraints. As the metal bands released, Kung Ho sat up slowly. He was careful not to make any sudden moves, but everyone could see the coiled power in his muscles. This was not like the peaceful humans they knew. This was something else entirely, something dangerous, and they had just set it free. Kyun Cho stood up slowly from the medical bed. Every muscle in his body was tense and ready. The aliens stepped back, giving him space. They thought they were being polite. Kung Ho saw it as tactical weakness. He looked around the medical bay. With trained eyes, 5 aliens total, no visible weapons. Poor positioning, they were all bunched together near the door. The ceiling was low, good for close combat. It's medical equipment everywhere, potential weapons and tools. Thank you for removing the restraints, he said calmly. But his eyes never stopped moving, cataloging everything. Dr. Hannah smiled nervously. Would you like some food? You must be hungry after so long. Information first, Kung Ho said. Then, food. Show me your ship's layout. Show me how to contact Earth. Captain Sora gestured toward the door. Come with us to the bridge. We can show you everything there. As they walked through the ship's corridors, Kung Ho memorized every detail. Exit routes, weapon storage areas, crew quarters, ventilation, systems. His training made him map the entire ship in his head within minutes. The aliens chattered nervously as they walked. They had never been around a human soldier before. The few humans they knew were scientists and traders, quiet. Peaceful people who loved to talk about art and philosophy. Kung Ho was nothing like that. On the bridge, Taman showed him star charts on a large holographic display. Earth was marked clearly, along with dozens of human colonies. Trade routes connected human space to alien civilizations. Your people are very successful now, Taman explained. They have colonies on over 40 worlds. It's very advanced technology. Very peaceful relations with everyone. Kyun-ho studied the charts carefully. How long to reach the nearest human outpost? 6 months, Captain Sora said. But we can send a message. It will take time, but 6 months. Kyun-ho's voice was flat. And how do I know this isn't some elaborate interrogation? How do I know you're not enemy agents? The aliens looked confused. Dr. Hannah spoke up. Enemy. We have no enemies. The Valdari have been peaceful for thousands of years. Everyone has enemies, Kung-ho said quietly. The trick is knowing who they are. Security Chief Bong-su entered. The bridge carrying a tray of food? A was larger than the other aliens, with friendly eyes and a warm smile. I brought nutrition for our guest, he announced. He walked directly toward Kung-ho, still smiling. In his culture, offering food was the highest form of hospitality. He wanted to show the human how welcome he was. Kyung-ho saw a large alien approaching quickly with an unknown object.
Ow.
His combat instincts kicked in without thought. His body moved before his brain could stop it. In 2 seconds, everything changed. Kyung-ho's hand shot out and grabbed Bong-su's wrist. He twisted hard, making the alien drop the food tray. His other hand found a medical scanner on a nearby table and broke off a sharp piece of metal. Before anyone could react, Kyung-ho had the metal shard at Bong-su's throat. Nobody move? He said calmly. The bridge fell silent. The aliens stared. In shock, they had never seen violence before. Not real violence. Not like this. Please, Captain Sora said, her voice shaking. He was just bringing you food. Maybe Kyung-ho said. Or maybe it was poison, or drugs, or a weapon. His eyes scanned the room. You, by the door. Move away from the exit.
Ow.
Woojin scrambled away from the door, his hands raised. You don't understand, Dr. Hannah said desperately. We don't fight. We don't hurt people. We're scientists. Everyone says that, Kyung-ho replied. Right up until they stick a knife in your back. He applied slight pressure to Bong-su's throat. It's not enough to seriously hurt, but enough to draw a drop of blue blood. The security chief whimpered. Here's what's going to happen, Kyung-ho said. You're going to show me your weapons storage. You're going to give me access to your communications, and you're going to prove you're not enemies. We don't have weapons, Captain Sora said. Our people gave up war long ago. Kung-ho laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Lady, everything is a weapon if you know how to use it. This medical scanner I'm holding? Weapon. That gravity generator over there? Weapon. Your own peaceful nature. Biggest weapon of all, because it makes you predictable. Taman was quietly trying to activate the ship's security systems. Non-lethal gas that would make everyone sleep. But Kuncho saw his hands moving. Touch one more button, and your friend here gets a new breathing hole. Kuncho said without looking at him. Taman's hands froze. Smart boy, Kuncho continued. Now let's talk about your ship's defenses. What happens if we're attacked? Attacked? Sora looked genuinely confused. By whom? Space is peaceful. Everyone trades and shares knowledge. Right. And I'm the Emperor of Mars. Kyun-ho shifted his grip on Bong-su. What about pirates, raiders, hostile aliens? There are no hostile aliens, Hannah said. The galaxy is civilized now. Kung-ho stared at her for a long moment. These people weren't lying. They actually believed what they were saying, which made them either the most naive people in the universe or the most dangerous liars he'd ever met. Show me your database, he said finally. I want to see recent news reports, military activities, conflicts. Woojin brought up a holographic news feed, stories about trade agreements, scientific discoveries, cultural exchanges, art festivals. No wars, no battles. No military news at all. Kyun-ho's tactical mind processed this information. Either these aliens had achieved true galactic peace, which was impossible, or they were living in a bubble of safety that could pop at any moment. "What about the Outer Rim territories?" he asked. "The frontier colonies?" "There's always trouble." On the frontiers, the aliens looked at each other nervously. Captain Sora spoke carefully. "There have been some ... incidents, raiders sometimes. But nothing major." Raiders. Kung Ho's eyes sharpened. "Kind of raiders." "The Skrull," Taman said quietly. "But they stay far away from civilized space. Tell me about the Skrull." "Warrior species," Hana explained. "Very aggressive. They attack frontier worlds sometimes. But the Galactic Council deals with them." "How does the Council deal with them?" "Sanctions, trade restrictions, diplomatic protests." Kyung Ho stared at her in disbelief. "You fight warriors with paperwork?" "We don't fight," Sora said firmly. "Fighting is primitive. We use civilized methods." "And how well do those civilized methods work?" The bridge fell quiet. Everyone knew the answer, but nobody wanted to say it. "The Skrull keep raiding," Kung Ho said. It wasn't a question. Sometimes Woojin admitted. "But eventually they get bored and go away. After they kill how many people? We don't talk about that." Kyung Ho slowly released his grip on Bongsu and stepped back. The security chief collapsed to the floor, gasping. But Kung Ho kept the metal shard in his hand. "You people," he said quietly, "are living in a dream world. And when you wake up, it's going to hurt." He looked at each of them in turn. "I need a secure room. I need time to think. I need access to your databases. And I need you all to stay away from me until I figure out what's really going on here." Captain Sora nodded quickly. "Of course, whatever you need." As they escorted him to guest quarters, Kyung Ho wondered what he had gotten himself into. These aliens seemed genuinely peaceful. But in his experience, peaceful people didn't stay alive very long in a dangerous universe, and something told him the universe was about to become very dangerous indeed. The door to his quarters closed behind him, and Kung Ho immediately began planning. If these people were telling the truth, they were sitting ducks waiting for slaughter. If they were lying, they were the most sophisticated enemy he'd ever faced. Either way, he needed to be ready for war. Kyung Ho sat in his guest quarters for exactly 30 minutes. Then he went to work. The room's computer terminal was connected to the ship's main network. The Valdari had given him access because they trusted him. That trust was about to become their biggest mistake. His fingers moved across the alien keyboard with surprising skill. Military hackers learned to adapt quickly to any system. Within 10 minutes, he had mapped the ship's entire computer network. The aliens had no security. Protocols? None at all. Incredible, he whispered to himself. They really have never fought anyone. He accessed the ship's blueprints first. Emergency exits, power systems, life support, crew locations. Everything he needed was right there in the open. No encryption, no passwords, no restrictions. Next, he studied the crew files. 23 aliens total. All scientists, researchers, and support staff. No military training, no weapons training, no combat experience of any kind. Then he found something interesting. Ship's manufacturing bay could create almost anything, given the right materials. And programming. Tools, equipment, even basic weapons, if someone knew what they were doing. Kung Ho knew what he was doing. He uploaded new programming to the manufacturing system, using his knowledge of human military equipment. The aliens' advanced technology could build things they never imagined. But first, he needed to test their defenses. Kung Ho left his quarters and walked calmly down the corridor. Every crew member he passed nodded politely and stepped aside. They were giving him space out of courtesy, not realizing they were showing him how completely unprepared they were. He found the security center easily. Security Chief Bongsu was inside, still rubbing his throat, where Kyung Ho had grabbed him earlier. "Hello," Kyung Ho said pleasantly as he entered. Bongsu jumped up from his chair. "Oh, you surprised me? How can I help you? I won't understand." "Your security systems. For my own safety, of course." Bongsu nodded eagerly. "Of course. Let me show you everything. For the next hour, Bong-Su explained their entire security setup. Motion sensors, camera systems, emergency locks, non-lethal gas dispensers. Everything designed to protect the crew from accidents or equipment failures. Nothing designed to stop an enemy. What if someone wanted to take control of the ship? Kyung-ho asked casually. Take control? Bong-Su looked confused. Why would anyone want to do that? Hypothetically, Bong-Su thought hard. Well, I suppose they would need access to the main computer core. But that's protected by ... Paused. Actually, I'm not sure what protects it. May I see it? Sure. 10 minutes later, Kung-ho was standing in front of the ship's main computer core with complete access. Bong-Su had given him the tour personally, explaining every system in detail.
Now this
Controls everything? Kung-ho asked. Everything important? Life support, engines, navigation, communications. Bong-Su was proud to show off their technology. Very advanced, very reliable, very vulnerable. Kung-ho said quietly, What? Nothing. Thank you for the tour. That night, while the crew slept, Kung-ho implemented his plan. He accessed the manufacturing bay remotely and began creating equipment. Not weapons. Not yet. Tools and supplies that could become weapons when needed. He studied the crew's daily routines through the security cameras. They were creatures of habit, following the same patterns every day. Predictable. He mapped every possible route through the ship, identifying choke points and defensive positions. The aliens had built their ship for science and comfort. He could turn it into a fortress if needed. Most importantly, he began creating a new identity in the ship's computer. Not Kung-ho, the rescued human, but Ghost 7, his old military call sign. A backup personality with access to systems the crew didn't know existed. On his third day aboard, Navigator Gi-woo made a discovery that changed everything. She was reviewing historical military records when she found Kwang-ho's service file. Unlike the basic information the crew had seen, this was his complete military record. Every mission, every kill, every commendation. G-Woo's single quotes, his hand shook as she read the numbers. Over 2,000 confirmed kills. Master Sniper qualification. Expert in 17 different combat disciplines. Psychological evaluation. Optimal performance under extreme stress. Recommend for highest risk operations only. His nickname was listed at the bottom of the file, the Ghost. Gu ran to Captain Sora's quarters at full speed. Captain, she gasped, bursting through the door. We have a problem. A big problem. Sora looked up from her research notes. What's wrong? Kyung-ho. He's not just a soldier. He's Gyu. Struggled to find the words. He's a killer. Professional killer. Look at this. She showed Sora the service record. Captain's face went pale as she read. 2,847 confirmed kills, Sora read aloud. Successfully completed 43 impossible missions. She looked up at Ji-woo. This can't be right. It's right, and there's more? He was famous among human military forces. They called him the Ghost because he could kill entire enemy units without ever being seen. Sora felt sick. We need to contact Earth immediately. Warn them that we have him. Captain Ji-woo said quietly, I don't think they're going to see it as a problem. I think they're going to see it as a gift. Meanwhile, in his quarters, Kyung-ho was making his own discoveries. He had finally gained access to current galactic news feeds. The real ones, not the sanitized versions the crew had shown him. What he found made him smile grimly. The Skrull weren't just raiders, they were conquerors. In the past year alone, they had destroyed 3 civilizations and enslaved millions of beings. They were expanding rapidly, taking territory faster than the Galactic Council could respond, and their next target was this sector of space. Kyung-ho pulled up tactical analyses of recent Skrull attacks. Their methods were brutal, but effective. Overwhelming force, no mercy, complete destruction of resistance. They left nothing behind but slaves and corpses. The peaceful species of the galaxy had no defense against them. Their diplomatic protests and economic sanctions were less effective than throwing flowers at a hurricane. But the Skrull had never fought humans. Not real humans. Not military humans. They had never faced the ghost. Kung Ho began modifying his plans. The manufacturing bay could produce more than just tools. With the right programming, it could create weapons that would make the Skrull think twice about their expansion plans. He accessed the ship's long-range sensors and began mapping Skrull fleet movements. Their attack patterns were predictable. Crude, they relied on superior numbers and firepower, not tactics or strategy in his experience. That kind of enemy was the easiest to defeat. A soft chime indicated an incoming message on his door panel. Kyun-ho opened it to find Dr. Hannah standing nervously in the corridor. "May I come in?" she asked. Of course. Hannah entered and sat down carefully. "We found your complete service record," she said, without preamble. "I figured you would eventually." "Ain't you? Killed a lot of people." "Yeah. I killed a lot of enemies," Kung Ho corrected. "People who were trying to kill my people. The crew is scared." Kung Ho nodded. "They should be, but not of me." "What do you mean, Doctor? Your peaceful galaxy is about to end. The Skrull are coming, and they don't care about your diplomatic solutions. When they get here, every person on this ship will be dead within an hour." Hannah's face went white. "You're wrong. The Council will stop them." "There are protocols. The Council has stopped exactly nothing," Kyung Ho interrupted. 3. Civilizations destroyed, millions dead. And your protocols haven't saved anyone. He stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. But there's something the Skrull don't know. Something that's about to give them the worst surprise of their lives. "What?" Kyung Ho turned back to her with a cold smile. "There. About to meet a human? But you're just one person." "Doctor, I'm not just one person. I'm 2,847 dead enemies. I'm 43 impossible missions completed. I'm every nightmare your enemies never knew they." Should have he walked closer to her, and now I'm awake. The alarm that woke the crew 3 days later was not a drill communications. Officer Minho's voice echoed through the ship's speakers, high and panicked. "All senior staff to the bridge immediately. We have incoming vessels, multiple contacts, very large." Kyung Ho was already awake and dressed when the alarm sounded. He'd been expecting this. He arrived at the bridge before most of the crew, moving silently through the corridors. Captain Sora was there, staring at the tactical display with horror on her face. "How many?" Kung Ho asked calmly. Sora jumped at his voice. She hadn't heard him enter. 197 ships, she whispered. "Skrull battle fleet. They're heading directly for us." "How long until they arrive?" 6 hours, Minho reported from his station. "Captain, I'm receiving a message from the fleet commander." "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, showing a massive alien creature covered in battle scars. The Skrull commander's eyes were cold and hungry. "Unknown vessel," the creature growled. "You will surrender immediately. Drop your shields and prepare to be boarded. Our resistance will result in the destruction of your ship and the painful death of your crew." Captain Sora stepped forward. "This is Captain Sora of the Valdari research vessel Eternal Dawn. We are peaceful scientists. We have no weapons and pose no threat to you." The Skrull commander laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. "Peaceful, yes, we know. That is why you will make excellent slaves. You have 1 hour to surrender, or we will take your ship by force." The transmission ended. The bridge fell silent except for the quiet beeping of instruments. Every crew member was thinking the same thing. They were all going to die. Dr. Taman spoke first. "We should contact the Galactic Council, file a formal protest." "A protest?" Kyung Ho said quietly. "They just threatened to kill everyone on this ship, and you want to file paperwork? It's the proper procedure," Taman insisted. "There are protocols for this situation." "Show me," Kung Ho said. "Show me these protocols." Taman brought up the official galactic response procedures on his screen. Step 1. Attempt diplomatic contact. A. Step 2. File formal complaint with Council. Step 3. Request military assistance. Step 4. Wait for help to arrive. "How long for military assistance to arrive?" Kung Ho asked. "Minimum 2 weeks, Taman admitted. But the Council will send strongly worded messages to the Skrull leadership. Economic sanctions. Travel restrictions. Kyung-ho stared at him in disbelief. In 6 hours, you'll all be dead or enslaved. But at least the Skrull will get some angry messages. He turned to Captain Sora. What about your ship's defenses? We have shields, she said hopefully. They should protect us from some damage. 4. How long? Engineer Wu Jin checked his readings. Against that much firepower, it'd be 10 minutes. 15, if we're lucky. Weapons. We have mining lasers, Wu Jin said, but they're not designed for combat. They might damage 1 or 2 small ships before we're overwhelmed. Kung-ho walked to the tactical display and studied the approaching fleet. The formation was typical Skrull strategy, massive firepower, no subtlety. They would surround the research vessel and pound it into scrap metal, unless someone changed the rules of the game. Captain, he said quietly, I have a proposal. What kind of proposal? Give me complete tactical control of this ship. Full access to all systems. No questions asked about my methods. Sora looked at her senior staff. They were all staring at her with frightened eyes. What can you do that we cannot? I can turn your research vessel into something the Skrull have never faced before. Something that will make them regret coming here. 1 ship against nearly 200? Dr. Hannah shook her head. It's impossible. Doctor, I've spent my entire career doing impossible things. Kyung-ho's voice was calm and confident. But I need complete authority. No interference. No second-guessing. No moral objections to my methods. What methods? Sora asked suspiciously. War. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. These people had never been at war. They didn't understand what it meant. There has to be another way, Taman said desperately. We could try to negotiate. Offer them something valuable. What could we possibly offer that's more valuable than our lives? Kung-ho asked. Knowledge. Technology. Our research data. I'll take all of that anyway after they kill you. Kung-ho looked around the bridge. Folks, this is very simple. You have one choice. Fight or die. There is no third option. Navigator Ji-woo spoke. Up from her station? What do you need from us? Stay out of my way. Follow orders without question. Trust me to do what I do best, which is kill the enemy. Captain Sora closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She opened them again. They were filled with resignation. What do you need? First, complete access to your manufacturing systems. I need to build some specialized equipment. Done. Second, I need control of the ship's navigation and weapons. All of them. The mining lasers are hardly weapons. Kyung-ho smiled grimly. They will be when I'm finished with them. What else? I need your crew to do exactly what I tell them when I tell them without hesitation. Lives will depend on split second. Timing, Sora looked at her people. Were terrified, but they nodded agreement. And finally, Kyung-ho continued, I need you all to understand something very important. What you're about to see will not be like your peaceful scientific work. War is ugly. It's violent. It's designed to kill people as efficiently as possible. Paused, making sure they understood. If that bothers you, you can stay in your quarters and hope for the best. But if you want to live, you'll help me turn this research vessel into the last thing those scrawled bastards ever see. The bridge was quiet except for the sound of the approaching fleet on the sensors. Dr. Hannah broke the silence. What do you need us to do first? Kyung-ho's smile was cold and deadly. Help me wake up a ghost. For the next 5 hours, the Eternal. Dawn transformed. The manufacturing bay worked overtime, creating equipment that had never existed before. Targeting systems built from gravitational sensors, ammunition fabricated from asteroid mining supplies. Kung-ho turned their peaceful research tools, into instruments of war. The mining lasers were stripped down and rebuilt as precision weapons. Their power output was redirected through focusing arrays that could punch holes through battle armor at incredible distances. The ship's sensor arrays were reprogrammed into targeting computers with accuracy beyond anything the Skrull had ever faced. Every instrument designed to study distant stars was now designed to kill enemy ships. Most importantly, Kung-ho created something the aliens had never seen before, a sniper's nest. He removed sections of the ship's hull and installed a rotating weapon platform with perfect line of sight in all directions. The modified mining laser mounted there could track and eliminate targets across thousands of kilometers of space. "This is insane," Engineer Wu Jin muttered as he helped install the targeting system. "One ship against a fleet? We're going to die?" "Maybe," Kung Ho said calmly as he calibrated the weapons scope, "but we're going to take a lot of them with us." Research Assistant Yoonji watched in amazement as their scientific equipment became weapons of war. "How do you know how to do all this?" 300 years of human military engineering, Kung Ho replied. "We've had a long time to figure out how to kill things efficiently." With 1 hour remaining, Kyunjo gathered the entire crew in the main conference room. They looked at him with expressions ranging from fear to desperate hope. "Here's what's going to happen," he began. "The Skrull will approach in their standard formation. Big ships in front, smaller vessels providing cover. They'll expect us to surrender or run." He activated a holographic display showing the enemy fleet's projected attack pattern. They're used to fighting scared civilians and weak military forces. They've never fought anyone who actually knew what they were doing. Captain Sora leaned forward. "What's our strategy?" "Simple, I'm going to kill their commanders first." Without leadership, their formation will fall apart, and I pick off their heavy weapons ships. After that, it becomes target practice. "You make it sound easy," Dr. Hannah said. "The theory is easy. The execution, .. double quotes Kung Ho shrugged. "We'll find out." Communications Officer Min Ho raised his hand nervously.
Yes.
"What do you need from us?" "Stay at your stations. Follow my orders immediately. Don't question anything I tell you to do, no matter how crazy it sounds." He looked around the room at their frightened faces, and remember they chose to attack us. They threatened to kill innocent scientists. Whatever happens to them, they brought it on themselves. The final hour passed quickly. The Skrull fleet approached exactly as Kyung Ho had predicted. Massive dreadnoughts led the formation, their hulls bristling with weapons. Smaller cruisers and fighters surrounded them in a defensive screen. "Incoming transmission," Minho reported.
Put it through.
The same scarred Skrull commander appeared on screen. "Have you decided to surrender, little scientists?" Captain Sora looked at Kyung Ho. He nodded. "This is Captain Sora," she said carefully. We need more time to discuss your terms." Commander laughed. "There are no terms. Surrender now, or be destroyed." "Please," Sora continued. "Just give us a few more minutes. You have exactly 60 seconds. Then we open fire." The transmission ended. Kyung-Ho was already at his weapon controls. Perfect. They're holding formation while they wait. Sitting ducks. He activated the targeting system and began selecting his first target, the fleet commander's dreadnought. Range 47,000 kilometers, he muttered, adjusting the scope. Wind resistance negligible in vacuum. Gravitational interference minimal. His finger hovered over the firing control. Target acquired. The bridge held its breath. Kung Ho smiled coldly and pulled the trigger. "Let's see how tough you really are." The modified mining laser fired with a brilliant flash of concentrated energy 40-7,000 kilometers away. The beam struck the Skrull Command dreadnought exactly where Kyun Ho had aimed. Directly through the bridge section, the massive ship's forward hull erupted in a chain of explosions. Secondary blasts rippled through the vessel as critical systems overloaded. Within 30 seconds, the flagship of the Skrull fleet was an expanding cloud of debris. The bridge of the Eternal Dawn fell silent. "Did we just?" Dr. Hannah whispered. "One. Down," Kung Ho said calmly, already selecting his next target. 196 to go. The Skrull fleet reacted with confusion. Their sensors couldn't locate the source of the attack. The energy beam had come from impossible range using technology they didn't recognize. Kung Ho didn't give them time to figure it out. His second shot took out the fleet's primary weapons. Platform, a massive battleship designed to destroy planets. The beam punched through its armor like it was paper, detonating the ship's main ammunition storage. The explosion was visible even from their distance. 2 down, Kung Ho reported, adjusting his targeting for the third shot. Navigator Ji Woo. watched the tactical display in amazement. They're breaking formation. They don't know where the attacks are coming from. Good, Kyung-ho said. Confusion is our friend. His third shot eliminated the fleet's communication ship. Suddenly, the Skrull vessels couldn't coordinate their movements or share targeting information. 3 down. They're starting to panic. The remaining Skrull ships began firing wildly in all directions, hoping to hit whatever was killing them. Their weapons lit up space with explosions and energy beams. But they were shooting at empty vacuum. Kyung-ho methodically worked through his target list. Command ships first, then heavy weapons platforms, then support vessels. Each shot was perfect. Each kill was clean and efficient. How are you doing this? Engineer Woo Jin asked in wonder. The range is impossible. The accuracy is impossible. 300 years of human military science, Kyung-ho replied, lining up his 7th shot. Math. By now, the Skrull fleet was in complete chaos. Ships were colliding with each other as they tried to escape the invisible killer. Some were fleeing toward the outer system. Others were firing at their own vessels in paranoid confusion. They're running, Captain Sora said, watching the tactical display. Some of them, Kyung-ho agreed, but not all. A group of smaller Skrull ships had broken away from the main fleet and were accelerating directly toward the Eternal Dawn. They had finally figured out the general direction of the attacks. Incoming vessels, Minho reported. 37 ships. Attack formation. Time. To intercept, 18 minutes. Kyung-ho smiled grimly. Plenty of time. He switched his targeting to the approaching attackers and began picking them off, one by one. Each shot was a kill. Each kill was perfect. The aliens watched in fascination and horror as their peaceful research vessel became an instrument of destruction beyond their wildest nightmares. Kyung-ho worked with the calm efficiency of someone doing familiar work. Target eliminated, he would announce quietly after each shot. Next target acquired. Dr. Taemin pulled up the tactical analysis on his screen. We've destroyed over 60 ships. The remaining fleet is scattering. They'll be back, Kyung-ho said, with more ships and better tactics, but not today. The last of the immediate attackers died in a brilliant explosion as Kyung-ho's beam found their engine core. The space around the Eternal Dawn was filled with the debris of destroyed Skrull vessels. All immediate threats eliminated, he reported. Fleet is in full retreat. The bridge erupted in cheers. The crew hugged each other and cried with relief. They had survived. Against impossible odds, they had won. But Kyung-ho wasn't celebrating. He was studying the long-range sensors, tracking the fleeing Skrull ships. What's wrong? Captain Sora asked, noticing his serious expression. This was a scouting force, he said. The main Skrull military is much larger. When they hear about this, they'll send everything they have. How much is everything, based on intelligence reports? Maybe 10,000 ships. The celebration stopped immediately. 10,000. Gi-woo's voice was barely a whisper. Give or take a few hundred. Kyung-ho finally stepped away from his weapons console, which is why we need to get moving. Moving. Where? Earth, he said simply. It's time to wake up the rest of my people. He walked to the center of the bridge and looked at each crew member. What happened here today was just the beginning. Skrull will come back in force, and when they do, they won't just attack this ship. They'll attack everyone. Your people, my people, everyone in the galaxy. Captain Sora nodded slowly. What do you need us to do? Get me to Earth as fast as this ship can travel? And send a message ahead of us. What kind of message? Kyung-ho's smile was cold and dangerous. Tell him the ghost is coming home. Tell him it's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do when we're angry. Communications Officer Minho looked nervous. What should we tell them about what happened here? Tell them the truth. One human with improvised weapons destroyed a Skrull fleet. Ask them to imagine what 1,000,000 humans with proper weapons could do. He walked back to the weapons console and began shutting down the systems. Dr. Hannah, I need you to document everything we did here. How we modified the equipment, the targeting solutions, the tactical analysis, everything. Why? Because when we reach Earth, they're going to want to know how to kill Skrull efficiently. And we just figured out the best methods. Research assistant Yoonji was still staring at the tactical display showing the debris field. I can't believe we won. We didn't win, Kyung-ho corrected her. We survived. There's a difference, he began, cleaning and storing his equipment with practiced efficiency. The Skrull have been conquering civilizations for decades. They think they're the ultimate warriors. Today, they learned something new. What did they learn? Kunjo looked out at the stars toward the distant human colonies. They learned that somewhere out there, sleeping in their peaceful colonies, is a species that spent thousands of years perfecting the art of war. It's a species that turned killing into a science. He turned back to the crew. They learned that humans don't just fight, we hunt. And when we hunt, we don't stop until everything that threatened us is dead. Navigator Jiwoo set course for Earth, engaging the fastest speed their engines could maintain. As the eternal dawn accelerated toward human, Space Kyun-ho stood at the bridge windows, watching the stars. Behind them, the Skrull fleet was fleeing in panic, carrying news of their defeat back to their leaders. Soon those leaders would know that they had awakened something terrible, something that had been sleeping peacefully until they made the mistake of threatening innocent people. They had awakened humanity's greatest weapon. They had awakened the ghost, and across the galaxy. In human colonies and military bases, soldiers who had been dreaming of peace were about to learn that war had found them again. But this time, they would be ready. This time, they would show the universe what happened when someone threatened the human family. The message that preceded them was simple. The ghost has returned. Prepare for war. And in the depths of space, the Skrull fleet carried their own message back to their commanders. The humans are awake, and they are death itself. The peaceful galaxy was about to become very dangerous, and humanity was about to remind everyone why they were the most feared species in the universe.